You know exactly who I am and what I'm capable of.
Today on Heroines, we're going to show you helpful tips on how to make your drawings' clothing come to life. And what better way to demonstrate this than with 3 of Angela Basset's fabulously dressed characters from American Horror Story: Marie Laveau from Coven, Desiree Dupree from Freak Show, and Ramona Royale from Hotel. Let's get into it. American Horror Story is an anthology series that takes place in a different time and setting every season, with all the characters and plots tied together throughout. The series is very creative and even jumps between time periods within seasons. For example, Coven switches between the 1800s and present-day New Orleans to show how the passing of time has had no effect on the immortal Marie Laveau. On a show like this, accurate and memorable costumes are incredibly important in helping the viewer keep track of what era they're watching. So, for our piece, we've chosen 3 definitive outfits from Basset's characters, looks that encompass who each woman was. Once we've blocked out all of our characters and established the base colors, let's go in and make these clothes slay. We'll begin with Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. Marie existed in an oppressive time for Black women. In Louisiana from 1786 to 1803, it was legally required for women of color to cover their hair in public with tions, or fabric headdresses. It was an attempt to minimize their beauty, but the joke was on them because women got creative and made them incredibly stylish. We divided the folds of the tion based on how it wraps around her head. Tions have many folds and wrinkles, so we want to make sure that we create that illusion by adding alternating highlights and shadows. See how the highlights pull the fabric up while the shadows pull it down? This is very important when drawing fabric, especially if it's a solid color, so that it doesn't look flat. When practicing drawing complex folds, don't be afraid to pull up some reference photos or even recreate what you're drawing in real life. To emphasize the puffy sleeves, we're going to add stripes that curve around and shade the tops and bottoms to really give it a rounded feel. When adding patterns, be confident with your strokes. Especially if you're drawing digitally, the damage is never permanent and you can just Ctrl-Z. Don't overthink it.
You're reckless. I like that.
Now let's travel 1.5 centuries later and 700 miles east to Jupiter, Florida, where we meet Desiree Dupree. She's a proud and confident woman who happens to have 3 breasts. Her personality shows through in her form-fitting clothing that define her curves and highlight her unique features. As a member of a freak show, her look is slightly gaudy with loud colors and prints, yet still classy for the 1950s. Our artist Mikel has made a more stylistic choice here, but if you were to draw these polka dots realistically, they would bend and contort according to the shape of her body. Sometimes it's easy to forget that there's a body underneath the clothing, so make sure to double check that the anatomy is correct. Here, we can still clearly see where her hips and legs would be. To draw ruffles, make sure that the bottom line of the fabric has peaks and valleys. Ruffles in real life aren't evenly spaced, so why should they be in your drawings? Varying their positions will give them a more natural appearance. Adding highlights to the peaks and shadows to the valleys gives the skirt dimension.
Somebody order room service!
And finally, we cruise to the present day and head west toward the Hotel Cortez, where Ramona lived. Or died. Kind of both. It's a very confusing show, y'all. She's a strong and glamorous woman who likes to don a bit of flash. When we first meet Ramona, she's wearing an iconic fur coat and electric blue dress, reminiscent of a woman who used to be a Hollywood star. When creating a texture like hair or fur, try not to get lost in the details. The important thing is to capture the feel of fur, which you can do by choosing a soft brush and highlighting and shading all the fur as though it were one solid object, and not individual hairs. So just be loose and confident in your shading choices. And there you have it. 3 powerful women from very different eras, played by the same talented woman. So, when you're dressing your drawings, remember to make sure the lines of the clothing wrap around the body. Use highlights and shadows to create wrinkles and folds. Retain the body's anatomy underneath the clothing, and be loose with your texturing. Basset portrays each of these bold and vengeful women with equally captivating performances. Although she won't be returning for the 8th season of American Horror Story, her characters will remain a legacy. What season of American Horror Story is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to check out our artist Mikel, like Gamma Ray on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube.